Today on ANN, in Egypt, children are discovering new ways to learn about Jesus, despite strict restrictions on public evangelism. In Myanmar, volunteers cross dangerous borders to bring relief, food, and faith to those caught in civil war. In Mongolia, teenagers are facing serious illnesses at increasingly younger ages. An Adventist NGO is stepping in early, before these stories become statistics of premature death. And in one of the most secular countries in Europe, Hope Channel Bulgaria marks 20 years, proof that faith still finds space and a voice. See it now on ANN. In Egypt, where religious freedom is limited and openly sharing the Christian faith is restricted by law, a group of children found a different path to learn about Jesus. Through outdoor activities, Bible stories, and plenty of play, they participated in the country's first national adventurer camp.
In the greater Cairo area, children aged 4 to 10 experienced something truly unique. Under the theme, Be Like Jesus, the camp brought together nearly 90 participants, children and their families, on the campus of Nile Union Academy, a boarding school operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Over 2 days, the children joined in a series of activities that blended faith, fun, and learning. They took part in plays about the life of Jesus, sang songs, explored the outdoors, read Bible stories, and joined in a symbolic moment where each child received a colored scarf, a sign of their official entry into the club. Here, adventurer clubs offer a safe and respectful way to teach biblical principles like honesty and service. The program is open to all children, regardless of religion, background, or nationality. The camp was organized by around 20 volunteers. Work with the Think Green Center of Influence, a project focused on health, well-being, and sustainability. Some are not Adventists, but support the initiative as a way to care for the planet and invest in future generations. Despite challenges like language barriers, cultural differences, and the need to import materials, local leaders remain committed to creating a space where children can grow with strong values and a living faith. The first Adventurer Club in Egypt was established in 2014. After years of inactivity, it was relaunched in 2023. Since then, the ministry has expanded. Today, 4 clubs are active. And even though the gospel cannot be openly preached, every activity and every story continues to carry a message of hope, faith, and the love of Jesus, taking root in the heart of every child.
A silent crisis threatens the future of thousands of teenagers in Mongolia. Diseases once common only in adulthood, like diabetes and hypertension, are now affecting young people at increasingly early ages. In response, the Adventist NGO ADRA launched a bold initiative to change this reality.
Located between Russia and China, Mongolia faces serious public health challenges. The country currently has one of the highest liver cancer rates in the world. Among teenagers, cases of diabetes, high blood pressure, and emotional disorders are rising, the result of routines shaped by poor nutrition, physical inactivity, and early exposure to alcohol and tobacco. To address this situation, ADRA, the humanitarian arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, created the program Next Gen Celebrations. The English name highlights its mission: health, well-being, and purpose for the next generation. The project brings workshops to schools and communities, covering topics like nutrition, emotional health, bullying, physical activity, and the prevention of risky behaviors. The work starts early, before the damage becomes permanent. More than 4,000 people have already taken part. According to the teenagers themselves, the results are already visible: less screen time, healthier eating, greater emotional control. In one of the most vulnerable regions on the planet, ADRA, in partnership with Loma Linda University and Mongolia's Ministry of Health, invests in prevention and information to improve the health, well-being, and quality of life of children and adolescents.
Myanmar is facing one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Since the military coup, civil war has displaced millions and plunged the country into hunger, violence, and instability. In the midst of this chaos, a group of Adventist volunteers enters a war zone with one mission: to bring hope.
If I had to choose a landscape of Myanmar to never forget, it would certainly be the faces of the children. They are the portrait of this country, the hope for the future, as but also the pain of the present. It was these gazes that volunteers encountered when crossing the border between Thailand and Myanmar.
It completely changed my view of life, what real life is, what the real world is. This is real life. People suffer, they have needs, they feel pain, they lose loved ones, and unfortunately that happens. But we come here to change a little of the perspective on life that they have and to bring a bit of love and hope.
The feast crossing to bring this hope was made a few months ago by a small group of Latin American missionaries called Mission House. Since then, this team has found different ways to restore the dreams of the Burmese amidst the war.
We are here seeing possibilities, what we can improve, what we can bring that is different, something that can empower the children here. That has been our mission today.
The first thing we noticed was malnutrition, right? Because a person without food, hungry, can't think clearly. And we realized that it affected not only their physical health, but also their mental health, making it difficult for them to learn and study. So we provided food that was very nutritious.
In some way, they are being taken care of. God is taking care of them. God is looking after them, providing food, bringing hope for tomorrow. Sometimes it's not even about the future, but about tomorrow.
Serving these people in their basic needs, such as food, infrastructure, and leisure, is the first step of this long journey. However, this work is by no means done alone. Even miles away, hundreds of missionaries collaborate on this project.
The mission we carry out here at Mission House is supported by the strength of missionaries who are here, as well as by the prayers and support of missionaries who are not. People from Brazil and around the world send prayers and resources so that we can provide the support we need from here. Without this, it would be impossible for us to help them in the way we are helping.
Contrary to what many may think, it is not only missionaries who teach. Children, teenagers, teachers, and other volunteers also leave a legacy for those who came before and unforgettable lessons.
He has a life completely dedicated to God, a beautiful service that I greatly admire in all the people here. So I pray to God that my life can be an instrument, just as theirs is now.
I can't explain it, but I know that the mission has changed me. I can't explain why, but I believe this happens to everyone who immerses themselves in the mission, because Jesus has a beautiful way of working with everyone. And when we accept to live this, I believe he shapes us in a way that we can't explain how, why, or when it happened. But when we realize it, we are just living the mission and don't want to let go.
The idea for this action actually starts with the volunteers from the Mission House, but then it reaches people, a lot of people from all over the world.
In southern Africa, Zambia faces a triple challenge: a lack of schools, clean water, and religious freedom in parts of the country. In response, volunteers from Maranatha Volunteers International are building classrooms, churches, and water wells in regions where access to education and faith remains a privilege for the few.
So far in 2025, Maranatha Volunteers International has made exciting progress on 2 school campuses in Zambia. The Sala Primary School in the nation's south has an enrollment of 1,500 students and not nearly enough classroom space. Construction crews recently completed a church building and are entering the final stages of work on 8 new classrooms, a water well, and bathrooms. Maranatha is also addressing a shortage of teachers at Sala by constructing 10 units of staff housing. Crews are also working in the nation's east, building the Mwami Secondary School from the ground up. Mwami is a Seventh-day Adventist hub that lacks a high school. Because of this, many children aren't educated beyond the primary level. Maranatha's completion of the secondary school will help solve this problem. Crews have nearly finished a large education and evangelism center at Mwami. This building includes 14 classrooms surrounding a central auditorium. They've also drilled a water well and leveled a soccer field for the campus and are beginning to construct its bathrooms. In addition to work on schools, crews in Zambia are constructing church buildings and water wells in the nation's south. These pieces of infrastructure are uplifting faith communities and providing life-saving water. Maranatha Volunteers International is a supporting ministry of the Adventist Church that mobilizes volunteers to build churches, schools, water wells, and other urgently needed structures around the world, including North America. Maranatha worked in Zambia from 2009 to 2015, completing hundreds of projects. In 2018, Maranatha returned to Zambia in response to a request for more churches, schools, and water wells across the country.
20 years ago, a small team in Bulgaria decided to use the internet to talk about faith, values, and hope. What started as a bold project became a television channel and today a symbol of Christian relevance in the digital age. Hope Channel Bulgaria has marked 2 decades on the air. Here's why this story still matters.
In southeastern Europe, in the Balkan region, where Christian faith coexists with growing secularism, a television channel made history. Hope Channel Bulgaria celebrated 20 years with a gathering in Sofia that brought together more than 160 people, including pioneers, volunteers, and international church leaders. In a place where faith is often pushed aside, this was the first channel in the country to stream Christian content live online, back in 2005. It began without professional infrastructure, but with determination. Young people did everything: cameras, lighting, scripts, editing. One of them joined at 15 and never left. Today, he leads teams and remembers the early days as a time of improvisation and mission. The setup changed, but the purpose remains: to present Jesus as real hope for those searching for meaning.
Hope Channel Bulgaria is not the work of 1 or 2 people. It is a product, the result of the prayers, dedication and sacrifices of those of us here and many others. To all of you. I cannot help but express my gratitude. A special thanks to the incredibly patient churches that hosted us in the beginning. They did a lot. They were very tolerant. They endured all the trials, all the mistakes, and encouraged us to keep going. Thank you all.
The celebration featured speeches, music, prayer, and discussion. A panel addressed the challenges of modern evangelism and the role of Christian media in a time of artificial intelligence and constant distraction. There was also film. A documentary featuring the world freestyle football champion showed how spirituality and purpose can cross paths in unexpected ways. And a local production from 2018 revisited real stories of faith in everyday Bulgarian life. During the event, one conviction stood firm: no project stands the test of time without direction and without God. The hope that drives these stories is not abstract. It has a name. It's Jesus.
And God's love and kindness,
Божията любов и милост,
God's Spirit,
Божия дух,
He is the one who changes people.
Той е този, който променя хората.
Media is just a humble medium to do that.
Медиите са просто едно скромно средство, посредник, за да направи това.
I'm looking forward
Очаквам с нетърпение
for how you, all of you together,
как вие, всички вие заедно,
will share hope
ще споделите надеждата
in the 20 years to come.
през следващите 20 години.
May God bless you.
The event ended with hugs, memories, and renewed commitment. Because even in a country where religion is no longer the majority, hope still finds space and a voice.
Любов позна и твоята чудна благодат.
The question that fascinates scientists around the world and drives space research is whether life exists beyond our planet. In this context, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the South Pacific region held the 3rd Faith and Science Conference to explore this topic from a biblical perspective.
Just before taking the final exam to obtain my pilot certificate, I went to the designated evaluator's office to speak with him.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Today is your check-in day. By the end of today, you'll have your commercial pilot license. I know you have a big dream of going to Papua New Guinea. And I have an answer for you right here.
Pastor Eben accepted the invitation and along with his family went to volunteer in Peru, where the church develops an air ministry for support assistance to various riverside communities along the Ucayali River in the Peruvian jungle. The Peru Project, as it is called, uses 2 planes to reach families, mostly indigenous natives, who need physical and spiritual assistance. The work carried out by Pastor Eben and his collaborators is essential for ensuring often the survival of an entire community. Far from the major centers and isolated in the jungle, families primarily lack medical assistance. There are many occurrences in this area, and Pastor Eben is the only pastor pilot in the region who can respond to emergencies. In addition to transporting food, medicine, and people to be treated at hospitals in Pucallpa, he is also the administrator of the Small Airport of Peru project. The team working on the project is entirely voluntary and is fully dedicated to the service of the Lord. Weekly, they gather to thank God for the protection they receive during air travel and for the victories of each day. 448 flights completed, 180 emergency flights, a large portion serving medical assistance, and 268 missionary flights to visit churches, deliver materials, transport missionaries, and support underprivileged communities and families. The Peru Project annually receives volunteers to work in both general activities and evangelism. These volunteers go into the jungle and share hope for a year. The assistance work never stops, and requests for help come from all directions. The 2 planes are always on missions, often making the difference between life and death. By accepting the invitation to leave Andrews University and come work as volunteers in the Peruvian jungle, Pastor Eben and his family are demonstrating great love for humanity. They are fulfilling the Master's call to go preach the gospel to the ends of the earth and save souls for the kingdom of God.
The question that fascinates scientists around the world and drives space research is whether life exists beyond our planet. In this context, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the South Pacific region held a 3rd Faith and Science Conference to explore this topic from a biblical perspective.
The event, held in Brisbane, Australia, aimed to explore cosmology, astronomy, and the possibility of life beyond Earth through a biblical lens. Presenters from Australia, the United States, and Spain discussed topics such as the role of mathematics in describing nature, the possibility of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe, and how to teach children about the cosmos in an engaging, faith-affirming way. Attendees contributed to shaping the church's faith and science strategy by proposing a Bible-based science curriculum, expanding social media efforts to share information, among other initiatives. A highlight of the conference was the official launch of Rising Waters, Enduring Faith, a book produced from the 2023 event and published by Avondale Academic Press.
Now to South Asia. In Pakistan, the Seventh-day Adventist Church trained over 130 women in spiritual leadership, mentoring, mission, and practical strategies to strengthen families.
The event combined biblical instruction with practical training, fostering empowerment and purpose among participants. The Women's Ministries Department also celebrated its 30th anniversary with a special worship service at Adventpura Church. Raquel Arraiz, Director of Women and Family Ministries for the North Asia Pacific region, delivered a powerful message to mark the occasion. The celebration concluded with a joyful cake cutting and expressions of gratitude for 3 decades of impact.
In Cambodia, a Southeast Asian nation where 97% of the population practices Buddhism, sharing the gospel presents significant challenges. However, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, through its centers of influence, has marked a new milestone by welcoming new members.
More than 100 attendees gathered to celebrate the baptism of 44 students at the Battambang Urban Influence Center. Located in one of Cambodia's key provinces, this facility serves as a missionary hub, offering various services that address the physical, mental, and spiritual needs of the community. These initiatives help build personal relationships, foster trust, and create opportunities for culturally sensitive spiritual conversations. Urban influence centers play a vital role in reaching diverse groups within urban areas. Through practical support, they provide meaningful opportunities to share the love of Christ and demonstrate positive community engagement.
Our next story takes us to Waterford, Ireland. What happens when you prioritize faith over business? That's the choice an Indian couple made when they opened a restaurant and decided to close on Saturdays to honor the biblical Sabbath. Despite this decision, their restaurant received an award of excellence and a 5-star rating. The establishment not only serves excellent food, but also stands as a powerful testament to faith and witness. Let's see the full story.
In Waterford, in the Republic of Ireland, a restaurant has captured not only the taste buds of its customers, but also their admiration. Andhra Spice, owned by Katharina and Naresh Kandrala, an Indian Adventist couple, recently received an award of excellence, an achievement that stands as a testimony to their dedication, passion, and hard work. But what makes their story even more remarkable is their decision to remain closed every Saturday as a sign of their faith and trust in God.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. And we have kept the Sabbath, we have tasted the Lord, and He is good. This award is completely based on the customer ratings and reviews. There is no other restaurant in Waterford that has all reviews which has a 5-star rating. But our restaurant, whatever reviews have been in Google, everything is 5-star rating. And this is how God blesses us when we keep the Sabbath. And we want to praise God for what He has done for us and our business. And today people talk about us and they talk about our food, and all the credit goes to our Heavenly Father.
Food is a good way of connecting people, and Naresh agrees with that. He shares how the feedback from people has a great impact on him.
Back in India, I never cooked, in the sense, I know how to cook. Even my family, they won't believe that I cook, because I was only one son after 3 girls. So I never ever had that opportunity. But I learned, I know how to cook from my mother, and I used to do different things at particular times. I love to feed the people, in the sense, if they eat, if they say food is good, that's enough for me. It really makes us a big impact on us. So it will help us to go forward. So in that way, we are so happy.
Andhra Spice opened its doors 1 year ago with the purpose of bringing authentic Indian flavors to the people of Waterford, and also to be a ministry. For Katharina and Naresh, the restaurant was more than a business. It was a step of faith and a testimony.
Today, they celebrate 1 year of Andhra Spice, a business built not just on good food, but on strong faith.
Despite being in the highly competitive food industry, they made a bold decision not to open on Saturdays, believing that honoring the Sabbath would not hinder their success, but rather bring blessings.
When we decided that we would start the business, we said no matter what, we are going to be closed on Sabbath. And there are many customers who have kept asking, why? Why are you closed? So this gives us an opportunity to tell our faith, to testify our faith to the people, and we felt this is one kind of ministry that we are doing through our food.
That's it for this edition of ANN. To learn more about the Seventh-day Adventist Church, visit Adventist.org. And for more stories from around the world, go to Adventist.news. To see more stories like these, visit ANN.news. And now we close with good news from the Bible. Philippians 2:15 says that you may become blameless and harmless children of God, without fault in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, same time, right here on ANN.